Emma, it's time for Miss Cosmo.
Cosmo! Welcome back to our channel. We are the Pageant Gurus and we are super excited and curious because we have a new pageant in the house and it's Miss Cosmo International. So this is the first pageant that we're going to be seeing tomorrow, and here's all that you need to know from what we've seen so far. So we saw the preliminaries, we have been following the group, so we know a little bit and we got a lot of tidbits to share with you. And it's going to be super interesting because we have our own take on what we want to expect from this pageant, or what we kind of feel from it as well. So, Guru, as of now, what do you think about Miss Cosmo International from what we've seen so far? Just give us a brief.
I think Cosmo, the origin of Cosmo are actually all our pageants, be it Miss World, be it Miss Universe, be it Miss Grand, and you see hints and flashes of each of these in this pageant. And that's the aspiration of Miss Cosmo International as well. So it was supposed to be a whole month-long festival, and it calls itself the Cosmo Festival, very reminiscent of the Miss World Festival. We've seen the impactful beauty similar to the beautifully confident logo of empowering women when it comes to Miss Universe. And also when it comes to the glitz and glam, the stage production, all of that coming from Grand. So that was the aspiration when Miss Cosmo really came across, having ambitions to have its own pageant. In fact, what we've understood is that the same franchise used to be the one that used to send its delegate to Miss Universe from Vietnam. And because of Kunan's way of working and her tendering of national directors, they were not really considered. And rather than fighting for that spot, they said, okay, we'll create our own legacy. And that's where we see a lot of formers coming to the pageant as mentors as well. So very hopeful, very excited. Yet there have been it's not been a smooth sailing. And we'll talk more about that as we progress in the show. So I'm quite hopeful. And let's see what the agenda of today's episode looks like. So Emma, what are the key areas that we're going to talk about today?
Okay, guys, so we obviously have been following this as much as we can, and we did see the preliminaries as well. So we're going to start off and we're going to talk about preliminaries. So the first part is basically the show, the stage, the production, what we thought about it. We know there was a mishap with the stage. They did have a makeshift thing that we saw last night. How was the host? What we think about the jury, which is very important. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the evening gown round, and we're going to talk about the swimsuit round. We're going to talk about the new impactful beauty crown. And we have a special tidbit called the Oh My God moments. And we're going to tell you what that is.
I'm looking forward to
the real amazing part of the entire show that we saw. And, of course, some very funny, interesting bits, of course. We're going to address a lot of things, a lot of questions people had as well. And, of course, we're going to have Guru and Emma's top 15 picks. And here's how we're going to do. We found 15 girls. It was difficult for us, but we picked our own individual favorites. And let me tell you one thing, these are our favorites. They're in no particular order. We have not really ranked them. However, we're going to have a top 5 out of the 15 as a winner circle who we feel that just might make it all the way. Because right now, we don't know what the criteria of this pageant is. We don't know what the advocacies are. What agenda do they have? Is it beauty with a purpose, or is it just beauty, or beauty and business and like Navat had? So we don't know how they're functioning and what's going to be noticed in these girls. So bear with us, guys. We're just going to share our top 5 winner circle and, of course, our top 10. And we have a lot to cover in all those sections. So, Guru, let's get started. And the first
Yes.
thing, of course, I'm gonna ask is the basic intro, the stage, the host, and of course the jury panel. What did you think about all of
Well,
that?
the first thing was that normally we call this as the preliminary competition. That's how we know things to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they basically postponed it by a day, we thought, what is this jury session? So,
Yeah.
I think that was complicated. I think they could have just said that preliminaries because it had every ingredient of a preliminary. I would rather think a jury session is more a closed door interview where you're having one-on-one discussion. So I think calling it was, I think, a bit of a gimmick. They could have just gone ahead and said the preliminary or whatever they want to say. For example, if you see supranational, they call it the elegance round and the energy or the fitness round. I don't know what for swimsuit and evening gown. Yeah? So I think that was the first. So once they said, okay, both swimsuit and evening gown, I was like, okay, acha, okay, fine. We're used to this and we can actually see the contest. So when it comes to hosts, here again, we saw at least one host who was from the country, unlike our
Miss
Diva,
Universe
sorry, not
fiasco.
Diva, Universe India.
Yeah.
And both of them, I think they did a fabulous job. So
Yes.
it was Mr. Dimbao and there was Kylie Versosa, who is Miss International 2016. Very well known in the pageant scene, so that was great. However, there was one interesting thing which I felt, and when I saw, I said, okay, I should bring this up, is her dress. So she was wearing a very nice dress. It was like, petals
It
and
was petals.
white.
I loved her dress.
It
Yeah.
was very nice. And what was not so nice is the fact that a very similar dress was worn by the Philippines candidate here, Atisa Manalo, during her sashing ceremony. So the first day when she was introduced, very similar
Okay.
dress. I'll try and put up a screen grab of it. So I think that was like, okay, why did she have to wear and what something, Philippines has already worn. So, but they spoke well, uh, except for, there was a time when they were talking about the contestants' names and they were shouting the names, especially in the swimsuit competition. Some of the names were not very audible and they were not very clear. Guinea was spoken in some other way, and not just me, many other people felt the same. That especially when they had to do the background, they had to speak the name of the contestants. I think that was could have been done better.
True. I do. I mean, I did love her gown. I did not see the sashing, but then this is something I noticed as well with the evening gown in general, with the designers. They are Vietnamese designers, and we saw them on the Miss Universe India stage as well. So there were a lot of similar designs, which we will talk in the evening gown round, that we saw in India as well. So it was, I could relate with a lot of patterns and things. I guess that's why it probably all looked the same. But other than that, I think the production was decent for the fact that they had to
Yeah.
quickly do the stage. And I know for a fact that is not the final stage. It was really, really small. But the LEDs were spot
The
on, the
quality.
music was spot on, the music was brilliant. I love the Vietnamese traditional remix that the DJ did. I don't know what that is. I
Hmm.
love it. If you guys know what music that was, I loved it. It was so beautiful, especially when the crown came out. So the music was wonderful. The host was spot on. They did not mess up. There was no problem. Although when the jury was walking out, you saw Paula Sugar coming in. We were super excited seeing her.
She stumbled just the way Harna stumbled.
And then I forgot the gentleman's name. And he was like, not sure, shall I walk on stage? So there are these little tweaks. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's the first stage. And it's the first ever thing that they've introduced themselves. So that was yesterday was what we first saw of Miss Cosmo ever on
But
a
Emma,
global
you don't get
screen.
second chances to make a first impression. I do feel that a little bit of
That was
credit to the
technically not
judges.
the first impression yet, because it was just the intro, like, okay, this is what we are, this is who we have as contestants and stuff. So it's actually something televised for the first time. What we're going to judge it is actually the finals, which we're actually going to see tomorrow. And if we actually, that's when, if they mess up, then we'll actually have a lot to talk about, and we have a whole year to talk about it. And they don't want to make that happen because Vietnam has, like Guru said, are brilliant. They have fantastic contestants. Sometimes it's a hit or miss with them, but they really wanted to get into the pageant community, and I do feel that they will do a better job than Thai and the Philippines.
Mm.
Um,
I think
although
they
I
also
love
have the
Miss Earth,
money.
I love Miss Earth, but I think the two Thai pageants, Miss Universe and Mr. Navat, I am not a fan of anymore. But I'm a huge fan of Miss Earth. So I do feel Filipinos do it better. I also think the Vietnamese can do it much better as well. So I have high hopes about this, about judging and jury. And they talked about a jury session. So I'm guessing there's going to be a whole lot of, you know, proper judging of these girls for actual, logical reasons to why they placed and things like that. I do see business as well, but obviously you're going to see business because it's a new pageant and they have to get in the money. They have to rake in the money if they want to stay, and compete with the big ones. So it's all going to happen. But as of now, what we saw in the little thing, it all went off well. I didn't really feel I would criticize much about it. I just feel that I want to see a huge stage. I want to see a dramatic stage. That's what
Well,
we all want to see. And you want to see an opening number. You want to see, and they have Chanel. I think she's going to be performing as well. And they've all the Cosmo music itself is so beautiful, as you saw in the beginning of her intro. The whole Cosmo music is lovely. I loved how it went. So they have created their own signature tune, and it's fun. So far so good. I love the whole Cosmo theme because it's the stars, and I am all about the stars and sci-fi and everything. So the whole thing just speaks to my heart and I love it. So that whole cosmic theme is lovely. I would have actually wanted Jamiroquai's Cosmic Girl to be played in the back, and I was like thinking maybe they'll pick up on that, but it was like a song in the 90s. I don't think they would know about it. I think 2000s. So yeah, I mean, overall, Guru, I think it was not bad. It was
no, it was definitely not bad. It was
nonsense we
very
have
well.
seen.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
well done considering the challenges that they've had.
Yeah.
I think what they've put up is great. Is a show of bravery. Is a show of being resilient, and is a showcase of their commitment to their aspiration. So I think quite good. But I just felt that like the way we have Miss World, Universe, Earth, Cosmo, they're all going in that. I wish they could have taken a different twist, but that's not particular to this show, but generally. Why do we have to talk about the world and the universe, even Miss Universe for that matter? What is the universe? It's a contestant from planet Earth, just trying to position themselves
So
as larger than
yeah.
life. Then aliens should also be coming in. Huh? I'm just saying, let
I mean, they should
think
have Miss
differently.
Andromeda Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
I would have, yeah, we could have another galaxy altogether.
put out
I guess it's mostly, yes, they are
things.
trying to, let's be very honest here. You see Paula Sugar here, and there's a reason why she's here. A very, very strong reason. She is not there just for judging. She's also has a lot of power behind the scenes that we don't know about. And we know that's going to happen for a reason. And we know exactly why that's going to happen. And we also know last night Kunan would have had hiccups and she would have had a lot of indigestion as well
How
afterwards.
how can anyone take the limelight?
I'm sure because she saw her arch nemesis on stage with a new pageant, and the reason it had to be something with the stars is to kick Miss Universe. It was so obvious that it had to kick Miss Universe. You had a stage, we have the Cosmo infinity symbol, and then you have the Miss Universe stage,
Hmm.
which is an infinity symbol. So there's a whole lot of what the hell is going on. And then
But it's very
it's going to
subtle. It's more of action rather than just visual. If you saw when we went to Miss Grand, there was
yeah.
this whole montage in which MU was stamped and broken by
Yeah,
Miss
yeah,
MGI, and we were like, why are they trying to do that? But that was only in a visual. But there's no comparison between the two. But here, by making sure that whatever negative elements were there in Miss Universe, those have been corrected. So I think getting Paula Sugar is clearly working in that favor. She has
yeah.
25 plus years of experience. She knows what it's all about. Even the jury, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, many of them from the Miss Universe franchise or being contestants or winners, clearly showcasing that they are going to handpick. It's like when a competitor picks up employees from a market leader to become the market leader. I think they're just trying to get all the wisdom, all the nuances, all the contacts, all the
Yeah, 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 yeah,
inner
yeah.
part. I think that's been the strategy.
True, and Paula Sugar has an inside information about the most important thing is Conan's jugular vein, and which means she knows her weaknesses as well. So she knows exactly how to tackle her and compete with her and be one up. So she has a plan and she has a strategy. So I'm not going to worry too much of the little ups and downs that's going to possibly happen with Cosmo as of now, but I do have this feeling, this gut feeling that it's going to be something worthwhile. And the prize money is $100,000. So you know for a fact that these girls are really gonna want to compete in this pageant. You're gonna see, I feel there's gonna be a shift where girls wanna be wanting to go for Miss Cosmo. And I think Cosmo in the future are gonna have, selection committees of each national director in each country specifying specifically for Miss Cosmo. I don't think they're gonna mix match it like what happened with India. We send runner up to Miss Cosmo. So I think Cosmo is going to start, building slowly, have their individual national directors. Which I'm happy because then from India, we're not going to have Nicolan and sending girls, and I'm going to be damn happy about that. So I would love to see a complete different organization build up and bring back the pageant that we love, the beauty pageant that we love to see, that had meaning, that had essence, that had substance, that actually made women, propel into something wonderful in their lives and, want to do good, want to do charity. And I do see that with Paula Sugar in the background, something as well. So and with the jury panel, we I thought to talk about who else was there. We would know who else was there. We're very excited to talk about her. But yeah, she was there. And the fact is that there is something going on. There is a transformation of what
pageantry should be.
Nonsense we saw in Miss Universe when Shukat left. And she had an agenda when she gave that speech on the Miss Universe stage in El Salvador, and we knew something was up, and she hadn't finished. And she made it damn clear it's not over. And we could see Kunan absolutely like daggers and
Smilingly
iron. Like, what is she going to do? So she knows a whole lot of stuff. So for us, I think it's going to be very, very interesting to watch and wait, get a bucket of popcorn and see, all right, what's going to happen in the pageant world? Because now it's on fire. We got a new pageant.
But Emma, it's just the first, thing. We'll have to see. Miss Universe comes with almost 72 years of experience and going through ups and downs, not just of the pageant, but also the way the world has moved. Like, for example, Miss Universe wanted to empower women by including married women, transgender women. Now, is that the route that Cosmo is going to take or not?
Hope not. I hope not. I hope it's just
so that's where it's going to be important.
We have no
which
idea.
Is the sweet spot that they take. And what I would feel is if they get too much of Miss Universe people into it, it might just become another replica of Miss Universe. So we need to be a little careful, and only time will tell how this. Final.
I want to ask you something. Okay, now the fact is, everything that what you just said, everything that was Miss Universe was not Conan. Conan just came in the last 2 years of it and buggered it up. Let's be honest, she destroyed it. But what was before had an ideology which moved. Now, as
transgender, for example, were in 2012, so it wasn't that Conan introduced that. Even
Mother. No big deal that what she did. Yeah, exactly. So now the thing is, she ruined everything what was already set in place. Like if the transgenders were there, or whether the age category went up. The fact is that she herself destroyed whatever could have been taken and done beautifully, and she turned it all to business. And right now we have a co-owner with
I think that's why she's taken a back seat.
Yeah, that's why she's taken a back seat. Because now we're going to see a complete Mexican influence into Miss Universe, and let's see how that goes. Because again, it's all business with them. So again, they're gonna. I mean, Shayna's reign again, like we see, it's just gone. I don't want this to happen with Cosmo. I want the fact that and I think with Paula there, she's not gonna do the blunders that Conan's done. For that reason, I have hope in this, and for that reason, I also feel that the girl, whoever wins, is gonna have a justified, happy, peaceful, mentally balanced reign. Not like what we saw with Harnaz, not like what we saw with Arbani. Arbani, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Arbani comes on stage in Cosmo. I mean, I just feel like she's going to suddenly turn up. She might be the host. The thing is that I do feel that Paula is going to rectify all the nonsense that we've seen in Miss Universe, the pageant that we all loved, since we can remember. And it was prestigious because we had the world, you had Asia Pacific, but then Miss Universe is always like the biggest one because it had the biggest name. So now they said Cosmo, Cosmo's like
even bigger.
Yeah, it's just not our universe. It's all of it. It's like 100 billion universes, right? So It's
I think they're
infinite.
making
So
way for
that's why
people.
they have the infinity symbol, because Cosmo itself is infinite, which makes it bigger than a universe, and that's what they're intending to go for. Fair
And in
enough.
fact, their purpose is also the infinite potential that women have when they, raise their voice and they become more impactful leaders in their right. So yeah, I think a lot of being discussed and hopeful as to what we see tomorrow. That'll be the first stamp of their
Yes.
inaugural pageant. What about the jury, Emma? How was the moment?
Well, guys, I'm gonna say it. Harnas
Oh,
is back!
yeah!
And
My
my
God,
God, she
she's,
looks a bombshell. I mean, could she get more prettier? She looked prettier than she was on Miss Universe stage. I can't
she was
believe
better,
this is.
correct. She
She
has
looked
grown
way
to a
better.
woman. It's like the girl has transformed and the wiseness is coming through
She's
her eyes.
blossomed. Our little butterfly is flying. I mean, it's out of the cocoon and she's flying. I mean, and all you Harnas haters, well, this is a tight one on your face, because you know what? You guys didn't believe in her. You called her all sorts of things. You spent lies about her, slander, all sorts of we know
In
it.
fact, yeah, there are
But
a lot of memes coming
now
out.
she's back.
Yeah.
She's prettier than what we saw on the Miss Universe stage.
Now, what
She's
do you have
more
to say?
elegant. She's more powerful, and she proved all of you
And
wrong, who
she
thought she
has
was
not
eating
compared
puris and she was eating
mother.
parathas
She
and
was
she
a
put on weight.
mother.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think that she has lived up to her standard of not comparing herself with anyone. She
yeah,
said that, a woman's body fluctuates. Don't compare yourself
yeah.
with anyone. And I was so happy to see this full circle moment where she's killing it without speaking a word. I in fact wrote in one of the messages, I've waited for this day to believe in one golden truth, which is stick to your core
Yeah.
and you will shine silently, silencing all your detractors. So well done,
Yeah.
Harnaz. You've given us hope back. We are so happy and we still want you on our show one day.
Oh, inshallah, one day it's gonna happen. I mean, God willing.
I think yesterday was
Pageant
amazing.
Gurus
Yeah,
started. We
because
started
of her.
Pageant Gurus to basically speak out about all the backlash that she was getting while during her reign. And one of her first episodes was about body shaming and about bullying as well. And she is our inspiration, and she'll always be our inspiration. And now that she's come back, like, this gives us so much of hope in our lives. Like, you know what? We're gonna rise up from the darkness, and whatever bad phases we're going through, you know what? Look at her. She is stunning. And I'm telling you, Guru, it's not because of we love her. She can take the Miss Cosmo crown if she was just
Now,
competing in it now.
yes,
With
and I think
every girl that we've seen, every girl will be having nightmares
no,
if
I think
Harnaz is
she
on the stage right now competing.
I think when she was giving and doing a farewell walk, I still remember she was raising her hand that, I'm going to keep you being, feeling proud about me. And I believe that she owed it to all of us, all of her followers who've believed in her. And I think tomorrow or yesterday was that moment where she basically regained India as a
Yeah,
powerhouse, because we were
yeah,
thinking that, because of Harnaz, the rest of the legacy of queens have that, okay, we don't want to crown an Indian woman. And I think she clearly showed that, well, it's not about one human being that you crown on one night. It's what that person represented through her work
true,
and what
true.
she even represents now. The ethos, the
Yeah.
core, I think that stays through your life, through your last breath. And I think yesterday was even special for us when we celebrated 3,000
3,000
subscribers.
subscribers. Thank you so much, my sweethearts, for believing in us, for following us, and of course, engaging and sharing all your views. Because I had a lovely conversation with one of our fans, and followers in Sweden, and that's the best thing. You talk to us, you share all your knowledge, you share what you find, and you do way more research than we do at
Yeah.
times, and you surprise us, and we love you for that. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to believe in us and be with us. And stick around, guys, because this pageant season, a whole lot more is
Oh,
going to come from the pageant gurus, and we are
yes.
not going to stop.
No, I also
Um,
wanted to just put it on record, all the lovely messages that you get. In fact, if you go to visit our Instagram handle, you'll see we've posted specific reels of people who've written almost chapters of what they thought
yeah,
of Miss Universe India, which probably get hidden in YouTube comments. So really, really thankful, grateful for the kind of engagement, for the kind of voice, and for the kind of intent through which you guys write to us and
yeah,
the way we respond. I think we've always kept this community very, very healthy, positive. and committed, and we look forward to your support in the next milestones to come. So thank you very much.
The nation wants to know.
Have you subscribed to the Pageant Gurus YouTube channel yet?
If not, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified on our upcoming videos, and of course, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Just pageant us crazy. Shukriya. Hey guys, now let's get to the fun part. It was the evening gown round. I was kind of surprised. The intro happened quickly. The jury walked in, walked out, and everything was done. And then immediately it started. And I was like, wow, already the evening gown. So I was kind of surprised that they didn't start with swimsuit and then go into evening gown.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but it's fine because I think it gave them time. Maybe they were already ready. So
Actually, it's a good idea.
So much because it worked better this way. You know why, Guru? The girls were already ready with their makeup, and it saved time. So all they had to do was do their work and just strip and get into the swimsuits. But if it was the other way around, getting into evening gown gear is longer. The hairspray, maybe they want to put in a bun, maybe they want to do something. So I think this was way more practical. Doing swimsuit first, then doing evening gown round first, and then doing swimsuit, because it saved so much of time. So by the time the first girl is ready, by the time the fifth girl is done, so perfect, very well done.
However, there is one thing that happens. Normally in swimsuits, people keep their hair open to get the flip and everything. So you could see some of the girls would actually wearing a bun during the swimsuit round, is because their evening gown round they were having a bun. So sometimes that can be a
not necessarily, because some of them, I'll tell you what, because if you look at the timing, Guru, from the first girl going in, she's already into dress change. Okay? And then after the entire cycle finishes, she's going to be like Albania was the first. So she has enough time to open up her hair. Yeah, enough time to do anything. So, but there were some girls, I think it was Thailand that opened up her ponytail.
Ireland was the one who continued having her bun even in swimsuit, whereas I felt that she could have kept her hair open.
We'll talk about the swimsuit round because there's a whole lot of goof ups that happened over there. So as of now, the evening gown round, I think it was lovely. I loved all the performances because we have our oh my god section, so you're going to see the blunders we're going to talk about. But I think it went off well. The stage was fine, even though it was cramped. It worked. It looked good. The music was good. The girls were like I saw some favorites of mine come back, which I'm so excited about. And I think overall it was fine. Overall it was good. Now, what is the judging criteria? We don't know. How are they going to judge these girls? What are the cut? No idea. We haven't got any information yet. You guys know, do let us know. And Guru, what did you think about the evening gown round overall?
So I just felt that, this was one time where they could have broken the mold of what either universe stands for or what a grand stands for. World doesn't really take too much of importance when it comes to dressing. So we've seen the nude gowns and the sheer gowns and the capes when it comes, the nude and the embellished gowns when it comes to universe. And then we see all these sequences and the capes and the colorful dresses coming from grand. So one could see two of these come in terms of what girls wore. This could have been a time where we could have taken more risks, where, like you always said, haute couture gowns and where this ball gowns, something which is new. This is the time to make that hit at the right time. So I think that was a lost opportunity for some of them. Some of them did try it, but it didn't fall as well. But overall, I think the stage was good. Music was complementing. We had few hiccups here and there, but other than that, what I also felt was that they combined the introduction with the evening gown round, because the girls came to the mic.
What did you feel? You got cut off there. What did you say? What did you feel?
What I was saying was that they mixed up the introductions with the evening gown round. So the girls walked up to the stage, to the mic, spoke their name, and then did the parading, which normally you have individually you speak and you shout your names one after the other when it comes to introduction. So they had basically clubbed these two sections, and probably that's the reason why they had the evening gown before, so that the girls can speak.
I liked it. Why? Because we got to see the girl profiling better. I got to see the name. So when I was looking at the girls and the countries, I could see the girl's name. It was properly put there. It was helpful. Then she did a pose. After introduction, she did a pose so you could give a good overall view. I liked it this way. When it goes like and then it's
No,
very
but I
fast and they all do that, the Miss Universe pattern.
no,
That's
even
okay when
Miss
you're doing the
Grand.
opening
If you remember
number.
Miss Grand, if you remember Miss Grand last year, they started with, in fact, evening gown. In fact, they've copied Grand there. Last year, if you see, they had started with the evening gown, and the evening gown, the girls went up and they gave the introduction, and then they did their Passerella. Whereas when it comes to the finals, it'll be a different setting. It doesn't happen with
Because
evening
see, there will be an opening
opening
number,
dress.
and
Yeah,
there'll be that quick introduction that
shouting. Let's
yeah,
see if the girls
shouting, blah blah
shout tomorrow.
blah, Albania. So that will happen. I just felt that this saved us a lot of time, and it was to the point. It was, I think, very relevant, and that's it. It was not over the top. They could have, like what we saw with the seven, was almost a 5 hour, almost a 7 hour thing with Miss Universe India with Nicolan, and that was an absolute disaster. I'm happy for the first time. We saw two first time pageants, Nicolan, and of course we saw Cosmo preliminaries. So there's
But
a
that's
big
only India.
vast
So
difference.
let's not even compare. I don't think we need to
Yeah. So,
compare
but
a
then the fact is, they were two different managements handling two new pageants for the first
very true. Very true.
time, and the management which wasted our time, wasted my life. 5 hours of my life is wasted watching that. And then you have somebody quick to the point, fantastic. The LEDs
Production.
worked, everything was beautiful. Great,
No, that's why
great production.
kudos.
Yeah,
Kudos
so
to
that we're
production.
absolutely happy with how they did it. So I think the evening gown, yeah. And the thing is, yeah, Guru, we're not gonna see haute couture gowns for a very long time, because they the girls, all the girls, I mean, say, I won't say just one or two. Most of them were so obsessed with the sparkly, chunky dresses, and it's just not going to go. And I think once
I think we need one winner to wear something completely offbeat
I
because
want somebody to wear a Jacqueline Aguilera gown, Miss Venezuela,
yes,
wear that gown, somebody, and then start copying it. Because I saw Singapore wearing a similar Catriona dress in one of her videos. Singapore, if you see Miss Singapore Cosmo, so she's worn the same lava thing and a different version of the lava. And I was like, oh God, please,
lava is done to
I
death.
mean,
Even
why
Daisy
can't you
had a
copy?
bit of
Why
lava gown.
can't Yeah, why can't you copy Givenchy? Why can't you copy classic Chanel or Valentino? Why is everybody doing this?
Why?
Why?
Why you do like that?
So I guess if one winner wears a classic haute couture gown, then everybody's going to follow, because that's
You
the
paved the way.
trend. Because until then, we're going to see these chunky, half-naked dresses and people with the flaring. You don't have to keep on flaring your hand with something, and you don't. You just walk like a
You
woman.
do that, yeah. You do that during evening gown. The same thing you will do in swimsuit as
You
well.
just
It's
have to keep on that parda utha ke, you're going on with the curtain on the
parda
back,
hai
and oh my
parda.
God, it is
I think
I am so bored of that same gown, like, but dupatta attach kar lenge and they'll keep going like this. No, I don't want to see that anymore. I'm so bored. It's done to death. Stop doing that.
to
It's
your
not
to
doing
your
anything.
to your point, Emma, Pia was the first one who was a current winner or a outgoing queen who really dressed herself up like nobody else. That she was the queen when she wore a Michael Cinco blue gown.
Michael
It
Cinco,
was
she
huge.
wore blue.
And immediately after that, you saw the very next year, Iris Mitchena also wore Michael Cinco in a
She wore
red
in
one.
red. She wore in red, yeah.
Then Miss South Africa was okay, nobody liked her. But then Andrea Meza won again with this huge purple sparkly gown from
Then
Michael
I think
Cinco.
Aishwarya Rai wore it for Khan. She wore a blue, baby blue one, I think.
Yes, correct, correct. So
Remember?
I think it's
So,
someone who has to set the trend, who has to take the risk, and then
yeah, so please, I mean, I've noticed, like, when you see gowns, you have prom gowns, you have cocktail, then you have wedding, and you have pageantry. So pageantry has a look.
look,
It's just this one thing. No, any gown can be
anything can
worn. Please don't think pageantry is just one, it has to be skin tight. Why aren't there any more ball gowns? I want to see a ball gown on stage. Why? We know you have great figures. Why does everything have to be
yeah.
that
For
same
that
silhouette?
matter, Miss World did it quite well. If you remember 1996, when Miss Greece won in India, she had this huge ball gown with
Yes,
the
Irene Skilva.
Irene
I remember.
Silva, yes.
Skilva. I love that. In fact, I'm trying to make a dress like that, by the way, Guru.
It's like the
Same
Manipur dress, like the Manipur national costume that I was asking you, how do people sit in it?
with the stool.
The
So
stool.
yeah, why can't we see ball gowns? Why can't we see different silhouettes? Why can't we see a peplum kind of a thing? I'm so bored of the same chunky, same figure hugging, and that the dupatta in the back and the flaring and the dang 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 dang. That Ukraine. Anyway, we'll come to
We
that.
will come back. Yeah, yeah.
We'll come
Enough
to that.
of yes. We can keep ranting about evening gowns the whole evening, but let's move to the
We're
swimsuit round.
gonna swimsuit. This is it, guys. The
Wow.
swimsuit round. Okay, so Guru, for me, I struggled with the swimsuit because the swimsuit itself was fine. I didn't think they needed anything else. Those capes were too long, too big,
And too colorful.
horrible color, clashed with the swimsuit color. It looked absolutely cheap. The material looked very cheap, and it just did not work on stage. It was too big for them. I mean, they did not need that cape in the first place. Albania wore a bodysuit.
Even
Egypt wore a
Pakistan.
bodysuit. And
Even
Pakistan wore a bodysuit. I still think though those were fantastic compared to what Lujain Yakub and Miss Pakistan had to wear that garbage bag on Miss Universe stage in El Salvador. So these bodysuits were
still
fantastic. I'm
better.
not going to
No, I
criticize
think
that.
the best that anyone has done is Miss Grand. If you remember, in Indonesia, nobody was allowed to wear swimsuits, but all of them
Oh,
wore those. So
exactly.
there is possibility to do that
Why
in
can't
our
you
very
do
best
something
way.
like that? It was like a peekaboo bodysuit and it was
It
completely
worked.
covered
It
and it was
worked. It
so beautiful.
rocked. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone wore it. It's what isn't it for one contestant? Everyone from
But they
Brazil.
gave like this garbage bags to Pakistan and Bahrain. And then so I'm kind of happy with Cosmo, what they did. It was still a bodysuit, worked. Although it looked like a scuba suit, like they're going scuba diving.
Yes, yeah, yeah, deep
They
sea diving.
just needed that snorkel.
Yeah, they
Remember,
are
Guru, when we went swimming, we saw this guy in the swimming
in
pool.
the swimming pool.
There was a guy we were swimming together, and in the residential area, of course, he was wearing a complete snorkeling dive with the everything, with
And the lifeguard was
flappers,
also
flippers.
laughing.
What do you call them?
The flip floppers, no?
The flip thing, yeah, for diving. He was wearing the complete scuba suit set in a swimming pool in a residential area. It was so funny. So yeah, I think that gave me scuba diving vibes, but it still worked. Okay, so I'm not gonna criticize that. Capes. Oh my god, please for hell, stop the cape.
Stop it.
Stop
Yeah.
the cape. Stop
Half the
the
time,
press. Stop the cape. Guru, what do you
stop the
think?
war, stop the violence,
Stop
stop
the
the cape.
stop the cape. What do you think, Guru?
I completely echo what you're saying. I think there were too much of a khichdi. There were too many fabrics, there were too many colors. The coordination was not there, and one could not really compare anyone with anyone. It became too
Yeah.
diverse a range to actually feel
Yeah.
and to even appreciate that variety, you know.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
I completely echo this. I just feel that they could have done better, but I was happy with the background setting. It was very
Yeah,
disco.
that
The
Miss,
music
it
was
was
nice.
looked very
Cosmo was
pretty.
coming.
Yeah,
It
the
was
Miss
good.
Cosmo.
And yeah, that's what I felt.
Okay, I guess pretty much nothing much to criticize because yeah, the what we said it worked. The girls' walk was a bit of a blunder because they were doing the evening gown walk wearing swimsuit, and the music was high tempo, so you wanted a very
Mm.
energetic, peppy walk. Most of the girls did it, but the rest were like really, really not sure what they I think they were
But
confused that they
they're
were
not
still
practiced
wearing the
enough.
evening gowns, so they were going really slow. And we have some funny ones to show you because now we're going to come to our oh my god moments, and these are the funny things that happened last night.